is the part where I usually look at the schedule to figure out what I did this week. But no need this week. Woolie, you gave me a weird look when I said I was going to play Kenshi on stream. Before I go into me playing Kenshi, I would like to ask you where the genesis of that weird look came from your internal brain. What do you know about Kenshi?
The genesis came from the fact that Kenshi is this really weird, old ass looking thing that is just big janks. And I don't know much about Kenshi, but I know it's big janks. So I don't know how that pick landed.
What I do know about Kenshi is a couple things. Is one, people kept telling me to play it. Two, there's a pretty good video review by Seth Sinch. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And it's one of those sandbox games where it's like, you can do anything. It was like, anything is a little vague. But it's totally free-form story RPG or whatever. What a miserable experience. Like, might be the least fun I have ever had actually playing a game on my stream. It's true. You can go anywhere and do anything, but
so it wasn't fun, jank.
It's bad to play. That's the part that the how to put this, like, that's the part that broke me, because I'm trying to get into all these genres that I don't know about or what have you. And this one was like, oh, the sandbox genre. Okay, cool. The free open whatever. And aside from the initial directionlessness that I had, which was a lot of my own personality, the choice of you can do anything led to the realization that I didn't want to do anything because it looks and plays and sounds like and controls like complete trash.
Correct.
And I go, why would I want to spend the time mining thing to get the money, to get the party, to get a thing? I hate this combat, and the world is hideous, and these menus are breaking my HDMI connection to my television.
Now, the way you said that made it sound as if you didn't know that it was a giant jank mess going in.
I did know that, but, and this is the important thing, I expected there to be an initial appeal, right? Like, I'm thinking of games like The Forest is the one that is probably the most sandbox game I've played other than this, but even that is like build a base to defend yourself against natives and cannibals and whatnot and mutants. But this is like it plops you down on a street and says go, and I go, what do you mean go? All right. So I asked for advice, and they're like, well, you can go mine ore to make money to get weapons. And I go, okay, what do you do with the weapons? Whatever you want. And it's like, but the menus and the actual experience of controlling and looking at the game are so fucking awful and miserable that I genuinely don't understand what the like it seems like a worse form of imagination. like me sitting there going, like, closing my eyes and twiddling my thumbs going, what if I was in a feudal land and I went and I worked my way? It like would be like a genuinely more interesting version of events, because at least my own mind controls well.
And you hate thinking up anything.
I hate that.
Creative.
And what didn't help was that the people who are way into Kenshi, by and large, don't seem to understand or remember a world in which people who want to try it aren't also way into Kenshi. So, like, the genuine advice that I got from many was, well, usually you're supposed to wiki for a couple hours before you hop into the game.
Okay.
And
Now,
it's like, oh,
I don't
no, that's unacceptable.
I don't know much about it, but I was never under the impression that people were into it unironically. I think
people are incredibly into it unironically.
Wow. Okay.
It has an
okay.
overwhelming positive review score on Steam.
Because it almost like looks like
can you excuse me? I got somebody at the door.
do your thing.
That's odd.
Right.
Before we move on, I want to point out that FedEx is the worst delivery service. As I ran upstairs to see the FedEx man having put a sticker on my front door, literally running down the street away from me.
Yep.
With no box in his hand.
Yep.
Back to his truck.
Yep.
And when I went, hey, he went, sorry.
Wow.
And drove away.
Yep, Duckman. It's the Duckman bit. Straight up. It's always the Duckman bit. Like, Duckman walks out of the house and the delivery guy's hiding in the bushes, and as soon as he leaves the house, he leans over and puts the tag and then returns to the bushes. Yeah. 1,000,000%.
All right. Anyway, yeah.
So,
terrible. All right, back to Kenshi.
Yeah, so I feel as if, and I don't know if this is the right comparison to make, but this is just what my brain does, because I feel like Kenshi is from that era that is like the same era as like Xenoclash, of just superb PC jank looking things, and I see it with like box art that is not like a Steam cover page, but it says like games for Windows on top of it, or it has like a box with that big, that square black and white logo that says PC in the corner that used to be on old PC game boxes.
Yeah, the game came out 2 years ago.
What?
It came out in 2018.
Really? It's not old?
Yup.
Oh my god.
Just ugly. 6th of December 2018.
Holy
Not old,
shit.
just ugly.
Okay. Wow. All right. Were you able to... Was there fun jank to be had at all?
No, I didn't find any. And it's this thing where I kind of feel bad because, like, I believe people when they tell me there's a lot of cool stuff in that game. But I didn't find any of it. I finished the session going like,
no, this came out in 2013. This is not.
Well,
this is
literally says release date 6th of December 2018.
March 20th, 2013.
1.0. That must have been 1.0. It must have been like early access or what have you.
Ported. It got ported.
So like, I didn't think anyone was lying to me when they said there was lots of crazy stuff and they enjoyed this game, but I didn't find any of it. I ended the thing going, are there characters? And everyone's like, oh yeah, there's tons of characters. Did you meet Beep? And I'm like, no, I spoke to like 20 different NPCs and they all had identical, like, hire me as a bodyguard dialogue, like every single one that I encountered. And stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, there's so much stuff. Where is it? Oh, you just find it. Like, I guess not. The interface is like the worst. Like, it's so bad. It has a text size option where you can increase the text of the UI, and changing that breaks every single interface in the game. Just every single fucking piece of text just blows past its own box and like is half unreadable.
As was the style at the time. Not really, no.
Like I've played Stalker as an example. Stalker's rad. Stalker's jank, but it's also rad. And part of that radness is that it was like fun to move around the zone and like shoot guys and scavenge and look around stuff. Kenshi, like even like mouse movement was like annoying and bad. And
So
like I
who-
fucked around with like the RimWorld tutorial, which is similar, like it creates your own stories. It's you know kind of thing. And like RimWorld had like controls and art, and I didn't have a single moment during the RimWorld tutorial where I was like, why is it gotta be like this?
Was this the product of someone like DMing you to be like, "Hey man, I think you'd really be into Kenshi. Here's
No.
a big explanation about why."
No, this was the response of, you know, when you go, I don't know what to put on the schedule this week, and you ask like a Discord or a social media post or whatever, what do you guys want to see? And like for a year or two, every single time I did that, there would be at least like 2 or 3 people going, Kenshi, oh man, it'd be great, you stream Kenshi.
Gotcha.
I'm like, okay, I have a free spot. I'll take a look at it. And to the people who recommended it to me, most of which seem to be doing so in genuine recommendation, all I can think of is like, how could you ever watch my content and think that I would enjoy this even for a second? Like,
well, because they enjoy it, and the hope is that you will enjoy it like they did.
It explains why when I was like I was like sitting there trying as calmly and as non-derisively to explain why I was having trouble with the game, I was met with some severe frustrations. Some all caps, like, it's so easy, you just do this, you don't need to read the wiki, you just do it. I'm like, I don't know if that's accurate.
I've only heard about this game in the context of, look at this dumb janky shit, and screenshots of textures that are like, is that too zoomed in or too zoomed out? Like the ground, like I can't tell if that is too up close, if it's too close or too far away from the way the texture is laid on this rock or whatever the fuck, you know? Yeah. All right. Well, no surprises there.
One of the weirder things, I guess I could do a thought experiment of it right now, which is, it's like I don't have a lot of experience with sandbox games, and then I mention like The Forest, or I mention like Subnautica, or I mention like whatever, and literally every single time I do that, people go, "Well, that's not a sandbox game," and I go, "Okay, so what is then?" Because of the true sandbox games that I am aware of, I think they're all like just trash. Probably.
There is one, and it's called Nobi Nobi Boy.
No, that's a feeding it to girl game.
But the game is to just play in your sandbox. Then that's it.
Yeah. Oh, no, to the people confused, I did like Subnautica, but apparently that's not a sandbox game. Apparently there's Dwarf Fortress, Minecraft, and Kenshi.
I definitely don't think that you're suited for
genre.
Yeah, you're suited for this genre because it involves you having to make things happen and do things.
I'll tell you what, I'd way rather fucking play Minecraft than this fucking shit. I played Minecraft for all of 5 minutes one time, and I was able to move my character and do a jump, and was like, "Oh yeah."
So the joke about you getting unironically into Minecraft, we are that much closer. You realize?
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm aware. Yeah, no, it's like I was so frustrated after playing it because there's the difference between, I think this is trash, but I can understand why people would like it. I am now like genuinely more confused than before I played it. I am like looking at a sandwich with like fucking shards of glass with a coating of taint smear, going, this is some people's favorite sandwich, huh?
Damn, that's a bad
Okay.
smear.
It's a bad smear.
Nothing good there.
And then they're like, no, you get used to the smear. After you get rid of the smear, the glass is really the shit.
You can't tell how much of it is one thing or the other.
Yeah.
It's a bad smear.
So, yeah, Kenshi was a wash. Oh, that's straight up.